Okay, so we had a bit of a look last topic about how we can get the equation of the line from the graph that we've drawn. But now I want us to have a look at how we can draw the line from the graph or from the rule for the graph um, without plotting points. Okay, in reality, all we really need is sort of two pieces of information. All right, so the method I'm going to focus on today is how we can use the gradient and the y-intercept to sketch the line that we want to that we're interested in. So I guess the key piece of information, let's just do an example here. If y is equal to 2x minus 1, the key pieces of information are, there's my gradient and there's my y-intercept, all right? So the process is, if we can identify the y-intercept, and we'll label it as -1, so the coordinate is 0, -1. And what I'm looking to do is try to find another point. So because my gradient is 2, what that means is that the gradient m is 2 over 1. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to write the gradient as a fraction every time. And what that means is we take one step across and two steps up. So if we do that, if I go one step across to there and then two steps up, one step would be back to 0, and there's two steps up there. So what would that point there be? If I go across to 1, that means x is now 1. And if I go up 2, y is now 1 as well. So if I get my ruler out, which I should always do, I can just do a quick sketch and go, okay, that's what my line looks like. Okay, and I'd label it y equals 2x plus 1. So I've got 0, -1, and I've got the point 1, 1 labeled. Okay, so that's our process. Identify your y-intercept, and then identify your gradient as a fraction. So let's have a look. So actually, there it is. I've got 2x plus 1. So it's close to the one that we've just done. So first things first, identify the gradient, which is 2. I'm going to write it as a fraction. And the y-intercept is +1. So then I'm going to come onto my grid and go, okay, my y-intercept is at +1, which is here. And then I want to go 2 over 1 across and up. So I want to go 1 across and 2 up, which is at that point there. There's my ruler. And then if I just get my ruler, I can sketch a line that goes through those 2 points. So I'm going to put arrows on it, label those points as the point 1, 2, and the point 1, 1, and I'm going to write y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, so let's go across to the right. We can see here that my gradient is already been given to me as a fraction, 3 over 2, and the c value is -3. So again, y-intercept at -3, and so I'm going to go 2 across, 1, 2. So I should actually draw the line, shouldn't I? 1, 2 across, and then I'm going to go 3 units up, which is 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to draw my line. Okay, so I've got y is equal to 3 over 2x minus 3. I've got the point. What is that point? That's the point 2, 0. And down here, I've got the point 0, -3. Okay, so y-intercept, gradient. They're the two key bits of information we need. So what have we got here? We've got a similar graph. It's almost the same. We could have changed that. So we've got 3 over 2, And this time I've got subtract 2 for my y-intercept. So I'm not quite as far down. -2. I'm going to go 1, 2 across. 1, 2, 3 up. So what's that, the point? That's the point 2, 1. And then again. I'm going to sketch my line. And we're going to write the rule down. That point's labelled, and that point there is a point 0, -2. Okay? Hopefully we're getting a bit of a feel. So again, the gradient is m. So this time I'm going to write it as -2/1, and the y-intercept is -1. Y-intercept starts at -1. Now, because it's up to you how you think about this. We can either go, because I put the negative on the top, I'll do it that way. I'm going to go 1 unit to the right, and -2 means I'm going to go 2 units down. Okay? So I'm going to get my ruler. So I know some of you aren't great with using your rulers, but you need to practice it. So I'm going to say y is equal to -2x minus 1. Arrows on my lines. Coordinate. Well, what are my coordinates? Well, what coordinates have I got? So I'm going to label that point there as 1, -3. And I'm going to label that point there as the point 0, -1. Right. Now, instead of, when I said we could go 2 ways, if I just grab a different color, let's make it blue. Say I'd have had -1, +2. If I put m is equal to 2 over -1, what does that look like? Just means I'd have gone 1 unit across and 2 units up. See, and we'd have still got the same line. We just have a different point labeled, and that's fine. Nearly finished, 2 to go. Done really well. So I've got m is equal to 3/4, c is equal to 2. So what's the y-intercept? Is 2. Again, I'm going to have a run of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way across. A rise of 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's my other point. There's my ruler gone. Get my ruler through those 2 points. Change the color. There we go. So again, I'm going to label 2 points on the graph, and that's the point 4, 5. And that point there is the point 0, 2. All right. Hopefully we're getting a feel. So look, we might have some graph paper available for us to make this a little bit easier. So in this one, m is -1/2 and c is +1. So there's 1. So what's -1/2? So how are we going to write it? I might write it as m is equal to 1 over -2, just to change it up. So my run is -2. So I'm going to go 1, 2 units to the left, and then I'm going to go 1 unit up. Now, when I draw my line, we'll go write the rule up. Oh, I've got the rule on the last one. -1/2x plus 1. Point of interest is the point -2, 2, 0, 1. And let's go back to the previous example and write the rule because you forgot it, sir. +2. All right. So key things: identify the gradient, identify the y-intercept, and write the gradient as a fraction, because then it's easy to work out your rise and your run. All right. Off we go.